All right, this is the unit review, and this was homework last night. You're going to go ahead and get a paper copy from Miss McCall, and we're going to go through it together in this video. All right, so again, we're talking about inequalities, and there are only, I think there are, let's see, seven questions on this activity. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do it together. So number one says solve the inequality, then graph your solution on the number line. So looking at this inequality, it says 4h minus 11 plus 9h is less than 15. So the first thing we do when we're solving for inequalities is combine like terms if we can. And it looks like here we can. We've got 4h, pen tool. There we go. We've got 4h and we've got positive 9h. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that operation right here, the plus. We're going to add them together. So we have 4 plus 9 equals 13h. Lovely. And we're going to keep the rest of it the same, minus 11. I love to do things step by step. I feel like it makes the most sense in my brain. All right, next step, same as an equation. We're going to go ahead and write our little line here. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that minus 11. So in order to get rid of it, we have to move it to the other side, which means we need to do the opposite operation. And that means we're going to go ahead and add it both sides. Plus 11 plus 11. Okay. All right, so we've got 13h. It's less. Okay. It's less than 15 plus 11, which equals 26. All right, next step would be to get rid of that 13. Right now we are multiplying, right? There's a little invisible multiplication symbol there. So we're going to use the inverse, which means we're going to divide both sides. Divide by 13. 26 divided by 13 equals 2. So our inequality is h is less than 2. So we're going to go ahead and put our circle on the 2. We are not going to color it in because it is just less than. And we're going to make sure our arrow goes to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. All right. All right, let's keep cooking. Number 2 says negative 3p minus 8 is greater than or equal to 19. We do not have any similar or like terms that can be combined right now. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into solving. The next step would be to look for any addition or subtraction that you can complete. And it looks like there is some. So we're going to go ahead and move that 8 over. And by doing that, we are going to add it to both sides. I'm going to go ahead and make my line here. There we go. Add it to both sides. 19 plus 8. It's 27. And keep our inequality symbol the same for now. And we still have negative 3p. Okie doke. Our next step, we got to get that p alone. Right now it's a minus 3 times p. Negative 3 times p. So in order to get rid of it, we need to divide by negative 3. Lovely. Divide by negative 3. All right, remember, when we are using inequalities, we want to make sure if we multiply by a negative or divide by a negative, that we flip our sign. I'm going to flip it to make it true. All right, so we're going to take our p. We're going to flip our sign the other direction. So instead of greater than or equal to, we're going to have less than or equal to. And 27 divided by negative 3 would be negative 9. Lovely. That is your answer. I'm going to go ahead and circle my answers. Nice. Okay. Number 3. List 4 values that can be substituted for x to make the inequality true. We have 2 steps here. We have 2 things we have to do. Number 1 is to solve the inequality. Number 2 is to write 4 values or 4 numbers that could be put in for x to make the inequality true. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to solve it. Okay, so we're going to make our line down. And we're going to figure out, are there any like terms we can combine? I'm not seeing any yet. So next step is to do any addition or subtraction. Okay, so it looks like we could get rid of this 10, right, because we're adding it. In order to move it to the other side, we need to do the inverse operation, which would be to take it away from both sides. We still have 5x is less than or equal to 15 minus 10, which is 5. Okay. All right. Next step, we need to look for any multiplication or division. So what do you think I should do next? Divide by 5. Sounds lovely. Both sides. That gets rid of the 5 over here. Cross that out. We still have x is less than or equal to 5 divided by 5, which equals 1. Okay, step 1 is done. We found the answer. X is less than or equal to 1. Now we need to write 4 additional numbers that we could plug in that could be substituted for x. Okay, so it looks like we're looking at less than or equal to. So we could put 1, right? That could be an option. We could put 0. We could put -7. We could put -419. You can put whatever you want here, so long as it is less than or equal to 1. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to circle both of those because they're both technically my answers. Okay. Number 4 says, what is the solution to this inequality? All right, so looking at this inequality, it says -4 times n minus 5 is greater than 23. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my line down. And I'm going to do my first step, which is to get rid of those parentheses. Okay, so to get rid of them, I have to do what? Distribute is correct. All right, so we're going to take that -4 times, remember that has the invisible 1. Oop, that looks bad. Let's fix that. There we go. We're going to put an invisible 1 here. -4 times 1 equals -4n. And then -4 times -5, or -5 times -4, equals +20, plus 20. Inequality is staying the same. And the other side is staying the same, 23. Okie doke. The next step is to see, is there any addition or subtraction? Because there's no combining like terms, right? We can't put anything together on either side right now. So the next step is addition or subtraction. So let's look at this and see if there's any numbers we could move to the other side. And I see one, and it is the number 20. I see that it's a positive, a plus 20 right now. So our operation we're going to use would be the opposite, which is subtraction, -20. And same thing over here, -20. And make our line. We still have -4n is greater than 23 minus 20, which is 3. Lovely. All right, one more step. What should I do here? I have -4n, which we know is the same as -4 times n is greater than 3. We need to get n alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide by -4 and divide by -4. All right, so n is greater than -3/4. You could write this as a decimal also, or n is greater than -0.75. Either of those is acceptable. Okay. All right, we are getting there, girl. We are getting there. We've got 3 more for this activity. All right, so this number 5 says circle the solutions that make the inequality true. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve it up, and then we're going to circle our answers. We got 2 parts again. Solve, circle. All right. Notice how it says solutions. So it might be more than one. We are going to go ahead and draw our line straight down. We're going to solve on the right this time. All of our variables are on the right. And that's fine. It doesn't really make a difference. So the first thing we're going to do is see if we can combine any like terms yet. And I'm not seeing anything we can put together. So we're going to do the next step, which is to look for any addition or subtraction. But I'm not really seeing any yet. I can't really figure out how to do addition or subtraction because I am having a number dividing the entire thing. So we're going to go ahead and go to division next. So I see division / multiplication right here with the divided by 4. So we want to get rid of that first. So in order to get rid of that, we're going to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication on both sides. Times 4. All right, so you're going to do negative 2 times 4, which equals negative 8. It's less than, and then we're going to keep the other side the same, x minus 5. Okay. Now it looks like we could do some addition, right? We got some addition and subtraction right here. So in order to get rid of that minus 5, that looks wild. All right. There we go. We're going to use the inverse operation, which is to add. And feel free to work ahead and like skip over or like pause it or end the video if you understand what's happening. Like you do not have to watch the whole video. It is totally fine. And it will not hurt my feelings if you understand. You could come back and make sure that you got the correct answers before you turn it in. So I'm going to keep talking, but feel free to just work ahead. That's totally fine. All right, so I've got negative 8 plus 5 equals negative 3 is less than x. Okay, so we're going to go over here. We did step 1. We got our answer. We could also write it like this. X is greater than negative 3. That might make it a little bit easier for you to figure out which numbers go there. All right, we're looking for all of the numbers that are greater than negative 3. So let's look. I think 3 is bigger than negative 3, and 0, and negative 1, and negative 2, and 13, and 5. Negative 13 is not bigger than negative 3. It is smaller, and negative 3 equals negative 3. So these are all of your answers. You should have 6 numbers circled for number 5. All right, we have 2 more. We are almost done. Okay, this has a lot of steps. Solve the inequality and graph your solution. So 2 steps here, solving first, then graph. So let's go ahead and look at our inequality. It says 3x minus x plus 5 is less than or equal to negative 3. All right, so we got some things going on here. We know that there is an invisible 1 after the negative, and we know there is an invisible 1 before the x. Okay, so we're just going to put those in there just to have them. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get rid of those parentheses, please. We're going to take that negative 1, use the operation with it. It is a negative 1. We're going to multiply it by 1x. We are going to get, let me keep that 3x there. Negative 1 times 1 equals negative 1x. And then we're going to distribute this negative 1 to the 5. And we get negative 1 times positive 5 equals negative 5 is less than or equal to negative 3. All right, let's look over here. It looks like we can combine some like terms. We have 3x minus 1x equals 2x. Beautiful. Minus 5 is less than or equal to negative 3. All right, next step, addition or subtraction. Looks like we got some subtraction here. So we're going to use the inverse operation to get rid of it. The inverse of subtraction is to add it. both sides. Nice. All right, make a line there. We have 2x is less than or equal to, I'm losing my steam. And we've got -3 plus 5 is 2. All right, last step is we're going to divide by 2. We're going to divide by 2. X is less than or equal to 1. Step 1 is done. We have our answer. X is less than or equal to 1. Now we have to graph it. We're going to put our circle on the line, and we're going to color it in because it is equal to. And we want it to be less than, so we're going to go to the left. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to circle my answer up here as well. Okay. Last question. So good. All right, we've got 12 is less than 1/3 times 3x plus 6 plus 4x. All right, first step, we've got parentheses. We need to distribute. So we've got 1/3 times 3. So if we're thinking about 1/3 times 3, what would that turn out to be? I am going to go ahead and open Desmos because I feel like that is a good practice to use. You can't see, but you could use Desmos too if you wanted to, unless you already know the answer. 1/3 times, times 3. All right, 1/3 times 3, we're multiplying by the reciprocal, which equals 1. So we're going to have 12 is less than 1x, and then we're going to take that 1/3 and we're going to multiply it by 6. 1/3 times 6 over 1 would be 1/3 times 6 over 1 would be 2. Add 2 plus 4x. All right, tell me, what can I do next? I can combine like terms, sure can. I got 1x plus 4x. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite the whole thing. 1 plus 4 equals 5. X plus 2. Okie dokie. All right, next step would be to get rid of that plus 2. To get rid of it, we have to do the opposite, which is subtraction. Subtraction. Go line. 12 minus 2 equals 10 less than 5x. All right, we want to get that x alone. Right now we have 5 times x. So we're going to divide on this side and divide on this side. 10 divided by 5 equals 2 is less than x. You can also write it like this. X is greater than 2. All right, so we're going to go ahead and graph it. We have step 1 done. Now we're going to do step 2. So we're going to find the number 2. And we want numbers that are greater than 2. Right. All right, that is the end of this page and the end of this video. Thank you for participating.